When I was younger, maybe in my 30s or 40s, I used to believe that having a lot of friends was a sign of success. You were popular, wanted, valuable. Weekends were full. Phones rang, there were birthday parties, dinners, group trips. It all seemed so meaningful. But now at 73, I've come to a very different realization. And I want to share this with you, because if you're over 60 or 70, you might be holding on to something that's quietly draining your peace. The belief that you still need friends to be happy. The truth is, you don't. Not in the way you used to. And that's not sad, it's liberating. When I first retired, I felt the silence hit me. No meetings, no coffee chats, no casual let's catch up texts. My phone was still. At first I thought something was wrong. Maybe I had been forgotten. Maybe I needed to make more effort. So I tried. I reached out to old colleagues. I called up acquaintances from the golf club. Some responded politely, others didn't bother. And slowly I began to notice something. Many of those friendships weren't built on anything real. They were built on routine, convenience, even social pressure. We were in each other's lives because we had to be. But now there was no need. And that was my first lesson. At this age, you no longer need to prove anything to anyone. Not your value, not your kindness, not your availability. There's something beautiful that happens when you stop trying to be liked. You discover the quiet comfort of just being. I remember Harold, a friend of mine from New Jersey. He was always surrounded by people during his years in finance. Networking events, client dinners, cocktail hours. But when he retired, most of those friends vanished. And for a while, Harold tried to recreate that social energy. But eventually he gave up the chase. He started painting, spent time walking, learned to enjoy mornings without a full calendar. One day he told me, I used to fear loneliness. Now I fear meaningless company more. And that brings me to the second truth. Peace becomes more valuable than socializing. When you're young, being around people feels necessary, but as you age, that changes. You start craving calm, a walk in the park, a cup of tea by yourself, the sound of birds instead of buzzing phones. My friend Margaret, she used to host Sunday lunches for a dozen friends every week. The laughter, the energy, it used to light her up, but as the years went by, those gatherings started to exhaust her. Conversations turned repetitive. Some friends only showed up to complain. And one day she decided she was done hosting. Just like that. No drama, no explanation. She told me, I just want my Sundays back. And now she spends them reading, gardening, napping, and she's never felt more whole. Another thing I've learned, fewer friendships mean fewer disappointments. Over time, you realize that not everyone who says they care actually shows up when it counts. And that's okay. Expectations lead to heartbreak. Letting go leads to healing. I remember William, 78, who once told me, most of my friendships died not because of anger, but because I stopped being the one who always called first. And that hit me. Sometimes silence reveals the truth. Some people only stay in your life as long as you carry the weight of keeping them there. But now you have permission to stop carrying relationships that no longer lift you up. Now here's another truth, one that took me a while to accept. Your time is sacred. When you're over 70, every morning you wake up as a gift. Why spend those hours on small talk you don't enjoy, on invitations you dread, or on people who leave you feeling empty? My friend Richard used to go out 3 nights a week just to stay connected. But he told me, I felt more tired than fulfilled. So he stopped. And in that silence, he found something more powerful, clarity. He started writing, volunteering, sitting quietly with himself, and he told me he finally understood what it meant to live fully. Not busily, but meaningfully. And this may sound strange, but let me tell you, true companionship comes from within. When you enjoy your own company, when you laugh with yourself, reflect with yourself, sit with your thoughts, without fear, that's real freedom. Eleanor, a widow I know, once said, the happiest I've been was when I stopped looking for someone else to complete me. She travels alone now, eats out alone, and she loves it. Not because she's antisocial, but because she finally feels complete in herself. And maybe that's the final gift of growing older. You realize that letting go of certain friendships doesn't mean you're closing your heart. It means you're choosing yourself. It means you're saying, I deserve peace. Letting go isn't the end. It's the beginning of something deeper. something quieter, something more real. So if you're sitting there feeling guilty for not returning that call or not joining that group lunch, let me tell you, it's okay. You've earned the right to be selective. You've earned the right to say no. You've earned the right to choose solitude over noise, stillness over stress, yourself over social pressure. Because after 70, you don't need more friends. You just need the right relationship with yourself. When I tell people that I don't really have many friends anymore, some of them look at me with a strange kind of pity. They assume I'm lonely. They assume I must be sad, or worse, that I've been forgotten. But let me tell you something. They don't know what I have now is not loneliness. It's freedom. It's peace. It's clarity. It's waking up in the morning and not needing to prove anything to anyone. It's sipping my coffee in silence and actually tasting it, actually feeling it warm my hands. Instead of rushing through a schedule filled with social obligations I didn't even enjoy. When you stop chasing friendships after 70, you don't lose connection, you find a different kind of connection. One that's quieter, deeper, and begins with yourself. I wasn't always like this. In my younger days, I had dozens of people around me. Colleagues, neighbors, old school friends, dinner groups, holiday parties. It was constant motion, always someone to call, someone to meet, someone to keep up with. And don't get me wrong, some of those moments were beautiful, but many were just noise. Pleasant noise maybe, but still noise. It took me decades to realize that not every handshake is a bond. Not every dinner is intimacy, and not every friend is forever. And that's okay, because relationships, just like seasons, come and go. What matters is whether you're still standing when the leaves fall. After I turned 70, something changed in me. I started to value my time differently. I no longer felt like I needed to explain my choices or justify my desire for quiet. I didn't want to spend hours catching up on gossip or listening to endless complaints about things no one was willing to change. I wanted stillness, not because I was tired, but because I was finally awake. And in that stillness, I found something I had never experienced before: presence. I could sit in my backyard, watch the light change through the trees, and feel perfectly content. I didn't need validation. I didn't need an audience. I didn't even need conversation. I needed truth, and truth, I've learned, speaks loudest in silence. I remember one evening a few years back, I turned down an invitation to a group dinner. It was a gathering of old friends from work, the kind of thing I used to attend out of habit. But that day I paused. I asked myself, do I really want to go? Or am I just afraid that if I don't show up, I'll disappear? And I realized if my absence makes them forget me, then maybe I was never really there to begin with. So I stayed home. I made myself a simple dinner, read a few pages from a novel, sat with my thoughts, and I felt more alive than I had in months. Not because I did something exciting, but because I honored what I truly needed. You see, after 70, life becomes less about adding and more about removing. You remove clutter, remove pressure, remove people who drain you, and in doing so, you make space for peace, for clarity, for real joy. There's no need to chase anyone. The people who are meant to be in your life will stay, even when you stop calling first, even when you stop organizing the reunions, even when you stop entertaining out of guilt. And let me be honest, not everyone will stay, and that's a blessing too, because you begin to understand that the people who do stay, they are your true people. Even if they are few, even if it's just one. My friend Claire, she's 81, lives alone and loves her own company. Every Tuesday she bakes a small loaf of banana bread just for herself. She says it reminds her that she deserves sweetness even if no one else is watching. She has no children, no siblings left, but she is not lonely. She takes herself on walks, talks to her garden, listens to old jazz records on vinyl. And one day she told me, I stopped searching for belonging. I decided to belong to myself. And isn't that the most beautiful kind of friendship? This stage of life teaches you something youth often hides. Your own presence is enough. Your memories, your stories, your voice, they all still matter, even if no one else hears them. Today, and when you embrace that truth, a quiet revolution happens inside. You stop waiting for phone calls that never come. You stop checking for messages from people who forgot you. You stop measuring your worth by how many birthday cards you receive. You let go, and in that letting go, you gain everything that really counts. I've learned to speak kindly to myself, to sit with old regrets without judging them, to laugh at my own jokes even when no one else is around, to dance a little when a favorite song comes on, to cry when a memory stings, to breathe deeply and say, this life, this day, this version of me, it's enough. So no, I don't have many friends left, but I have peace. I have self-respect. I have time to enjoy the smallest details of this wild, unpredictable, beautiful thing we call aging. I no longer fear being forgotten. I fear forgetting to live. And I won't let that happen. Not now, not at 73. Not while I still have mornings to wake up to and evenings to reflect. If you're listening to this and feeling that same shift inside you, the craving for solitude, the pull away from noisy circles, the quiet longing to just be, follow it. You're not broken, you're not bitter, you're becoming. And becoming is the most sacred journey of all. I've spent a lot of time lately thinking about what truly remains when the noise of the world fades. When the dinners are fewer, the phone's quieter, the birthday simpler, when the roles you once played, provider, worker, friend, entertainer, begin to fall away. What's left when the audience leaves? What's left when the party ends? What's left when it's just you, in your chair, with the evening sun on your hands and nothing but your thoughts to keep you company? It took me years to learn this, but what's left is the most important thing of all, yourself. Not the self you perform for others, not the version you polish to fit in, but the raw, honest, beautiful self that maybe, just maybe, you've never fully met before. That's the gift of age. That's the treasure of solitude. It introduces you to... There's a kind of courage that comes after 70. It's not loud, not showy. It's quiet. It's the courage to say, no, I don't want to go. No, I don't enjoy that anymore. No, I'm not chasing that connection again. But more than that, it's the courage to say yes. Yes to rest, yes to softness. Yes to a simple day spent doing almost nothing but breathing and remembering. Yes to being content without a reason. Yes to smiling at strangers without expecting them to stay. Yes to living fully, even in small moments, even when no one is watching. I remember visiting my friend Thomas last fall. He's 85, lives in a small cabin near the woods. No Wi-Fi, no guests, just trees, books, a dog named Max, and peace. We sat on his porch for hours, barely speaking, just listening to the wind move through the leaves, watching light dance across the fields. And at one point he said something that stayed with me. He said, when you stop needing more, you realize how much you already have. And that's it, is it? That's the lesson that so many miss. We spend decades chasing more. More friends, more invitations, more recognition, more meaning, only to find that peace was always available, but only when we were ready to stop chasing. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying friendships aren't valuable. Some are precious, a call from an old friend, a shared laugh, a gentle memory. These are gold. But the truth is, you don't need many, and you don't need to cling. The friends that remain after the noise dies down, those are real. Keep them close, nurture them gently, but don't fear the spaces that open up. Don't rush to fill them, because in those spaces, you'll find something sacred, time. And with time comes healing, creativity, peace. You might find yourself singing more, writing more, walking more. You might find joy in things you never noticed before. A bird landing on your windowsill, the sound of your own footsteps on gravel, the scent of old paper in your favorite book. You might cry more, and not because you're sad, but because everything touches you deeper now. And yes, you might spend more evenings alone, but you'll no longer fear that. You'll welcome it. You'll sit in the quiet and think, this is mine, this is good. And here's something I wish someone told me when I first started feeling the absence of people. You're not becoming invisible, you're becoming whole. You're not losing value, you're returning to yourself. You're not fading, you're unfolding. All your wisdom, your stories, your little rituals, they're not small. They're your legacy. They're the gentle weight of a life lived honestly. And one day, someone will remember how you made tea, how you hummed a certain tune, how you showed up for yourself when no one else did. So if you're listening to this, and you feel like you've outgrown the social circles you used to belong to, that's okay. You're not falling behind. You're moving inward. You're stepping into a season that demands less noise and more presence. Less proving and more being. Let others keep chasing popularity if they must. Let them post and plan and attend every little gathering. But you, take your time. Sit with your spirit, tend to your soul, and know this. You are not less because you are alone. You are more in ways that only silence can show you. In the end, after 70, it's not about collecting more friends. It's about collecting moments of truth. It's about watching the sky change color and letting it move you. It's about knowing your worth without needing it echoed back. It's about holding your own hand in the dark and saying, I'm here, I'm enough. That's not loneliness, that's love. The kind that finally, beautifully. So if this story touched something in you, if it made you reflect or feel a little more understood, I'd be honored if you'd click that like button. And if you want to keep walking this journey with me, through more stories about aging, peace, independence, and finding beauty in this quiet season of life, go ahead and subscribe. I'm not here to go viral. I'm here to speak gently to those who need it. And if that's you, then welcome. You're not alone anymore.